Okay, well, hello and welcome to the Ivy Tech live stream it's not Ivy Tech, it's Jason Johnson. I'm doing it as an Ivy Tech instructor. So, welcome to the live stream. The date of this live stream is August 31st, 2017. And let me check here and make sure that my settings are going through. I think we are. Let's. All right, so it should be going through now. So again, welcome to the live stream. This is a test at first, just to make sure everything's working right and to make sure that we are broadcasting everything right. So I'm just doing some pre-setup here. So you probably want to jump about 5 minutes into, maybe 2 or 3 minutes into the live stream. It should get you there where we begin. We just have to do all the prep work for the live stream. So if you're watching this at the very first, you're going to see all of the information. So let's just check here and see if this is working. I'm going to turn my volume up just to... Oh, we have to do ads. Oh, yeah, YouTube and their lovely ads. Okay, here we go. All right, live stream looks like it's going through. I'm going to keep that pulled up just in case. I'm not going to do a chat from that screen. I've just got it pulled up on another screen there. So we are rolling here. And again, welcome to the live stream with Jason Johnson. The next hour for this live stream, the purpose and the goal and the focus of this is to answer your questions as an Ivy Tech student. So this live stream is primarily focused on Ivy Tech students. However, I will take questions, general questions about IT outside of Ivy Tech students, but just so everyone knows that Ivy Tech students that are in the program here will get priority on questions. So ask your questions, go into the live chat there of what you have, what you need. I've not received any by email up to this point, so we are going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and share. Short of getting questions, what I'm going to do here, and I need to silence my phone. It's coming through. There we go. And so, and I've got my music in the background. I need to turn that down too. Adrian Von Ziegler. Check him out on YouTube, by the way. I've got links in the description below. So if you check him out, pretty cool music. He allows people to use it on YouTube for free. And we are going to drop the Ivy Tech logo, and I'm going to do my main screen here. There we go. And we are up and running. There we go. So you should be able to see my screen now. I'm looking at the Netacad. The primary focus, short of getting any questions, if I don't get any questions for any students today, what I'm going to do is work through the NETI 105 course for the first part of the live stream. So, and I'll put the description below. I'll try to put time tags on this, or as close as possible on the time tags. I'm going to work on the NETI 105. I'm going to look around at the course. And then I'm going to move over to the ITSP 135, which is a IT Essentials, PC hardware and software, and I'll cover that in the second half. I'm not going to focus on SDEV 120, which is programming logic or intro to programming, and I'm not going to do INFM 109 in today's live stream, unless you have specific questions, and then I will. So with that, let's go ahead and oh, actually, let me stop, and this is where I need to ask. I need your feedback on what topics you want me to cover. What I'm going to do, if I don't get questions each week, I'm just going to cover the material and different courses each week, primarily the network fundamentals and the IT essentials. I'll cover questions in the INFM 109, which is the informatics course that I'm teaching. And I can also cover other courses outside the ones I'm teaching for the fall. So if you have a question on databasing, you have a SQL question, as much as I can help you with that, I will. If you've got a web programming, an HTML question, something along those lines about basic HTML or CSS, if I can help you on that, I'll help you on those as well. So a server question, Linux question, things like that. I'm not going to be able to help you much on the programming side as far as programming languages, but I'll be able to help you on the courses that I teach and where I have a focus, and cybersecurity as well. I can help you with those as well. I don't have a cybersecurity course this semester, but I do have the material and the certification background on that too. So, all right. So with that, just let me know what you want to see in the live stream on here. And if I don't get feedback and if I don't get questions, I'm just going to focus on the material for the courses. I do have an announcement for upcoming. I don't know the date yet, but I did talk with Daryl Decker. He's career development for Ivy Tech Richmond campus. And so he provides a lot of different services, and Ivy Tech provides a lot of different services on career development. And so I'm going to have him come into one of our live streams here in the next few weeks. I just have not decided yet when we're going to do that. We got to get a time on that, and I just don't know when that's going to be. I need to shut my Discord down there, and we don't know. I don't know when that's going to be. So we'll get that. I'll do an announcement on that later on, and I'm going to turn off my bar there so that doesn't show up on the live stream. There we go. That'll disappear and it'll give more screen space to us. So that's going to be upcoming. You'll see announcements on that on both Twitter, on YouTube, and in your classes. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to jump into the NETI 105 course on the Cisco Networking Academy. And as that pulls up, we are in Module 2 this week. We're in Week 2. And so if we go into Module 2 here, we are focused this week on starting to work with the packet tracer. If you're in the NETI 105 course, you should have received an email this week with your username and password to the NDG site to do the NDG labs. However, not all of the labs are over on the NDG side. That's only for specific labs. That's also for the midterm exam and for the final exam, the final skills-based assessment exam. The actual quiz the actual final exam, the written exam. It's not actually written because you're doing it on the computer, but the one that you take on there is on the NetAcad side, but your skills-based assessment is on the NDG side. So make sure that you get logged into the NDG site, make sure that password is working. And then for the labs that you can complete over there, you want to need to adjust my mic here so it doesn't get knocked up against my my sleeve as I keep turning my head. Make sure that you can get logged in and everything's working. Most of the labs you can do in Packet Tracer, and I'm going to pull Packet Tracer up here in a few minutes, and we'll look at that on how to do that. We're going to do the 1245 Packet Tracer lab. We'll look around that today, and then we'll talk about researching IT and networking jobs, that lab that you need to do, and then you'll have a video that you need to watch about navigating between the iOS modes. In there, and make sure that you do the Chapter 1 quiz, and then make sure you do the Chapter 1 exam. Those exams should be open. Those exams here, the chapter exams and the quizzes are going to lead you to the material to the final exam that you have and help you learn the material. So make sure that you get those done. One, they count towards your grade, and two, they help you prepare for the final exam. So let's take a look at the terms and concepts here first. On the Chapter 1 terms and concepts. Oh, and I almost forgot. I need to do the plug for my YouTube channel here. Not that I'm making any, it's more for, I did these videos for students. But if you're in the course here and you look at course YouTube videos right here, if you click on that, that's the playlist for my YouTube channel for these Cisco NetAcad course. Now, this is the 5.1 material. We are currently in the 6.0 material, but everything mostly lines up. I say about 95% lines up. The material is all still relevant. The 5.0, the 5.1, and the 6.0 are all the same material. They've added some extra material in 6.0, and they've moved some chapters around. So as we're looking at these chapters, you may say, oh, wait, I'm in chapter 5, and 5 doesn't say that anymore. Well, the material is still the same. I'm in the process of recording the version 6 PowerPoints and going through those, but as you can see, there's a number of them. There's 26 videos, and they 22 for the actual PowerPoint slides, and they all run anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. And each video, just prep time alone, for a 30-minute video, I may prep for an hour and a half. So it's almost doubled up, time and a half to prep for a video. So 30-minute video takes me hour and a half to prep for, and then recording time, processing time, upload time, just all of that, getting the thumbnails right, everything. And I need to make these thumbnails larger, don't I? I need to do a better job of getting the thumbnails larger, and I'll do that. So those do take me a little bit of time, so just please be patient on that. I am getting the 6.0 version out. I should have all of those done here in the next month, I would say. Just with the start of the semester, it's really busy. And then when we roll into September, I'll have a little bit more time. Okay, so here we go on. Let me back up here. Let's talk about the material a little bit. for Chapter 1, Terms and Concepts Practice. So in Chapter 1, we are looking at, this is an activity here. We're not going to do the activity here. We're not going to do that. Oh, yeah, we are. This one is you can do these cards here. There's 18 cards, and these are if you've done these study cards before, they're pretty nice to be able to study the material. Let's do a matching learn test. Let's do flashcards. There we go. We're gonna do flashcards, and I don't want to. Okay, and so what it does is it's almost like Jeopardy. It's they give you the answer, and then you got to guess the term. So the tool are tools that allow individuals to work together as a team on a project, no matter where they are located, and that's collaboration tools. So when you hear the term collaboration, that means that you collaborate, and it can have, I guess, a negative connotation, collaborators, if you were in a wartime setting like that. But in the business world and in the networking world that we live in, being able to collaborate with somebody means that you can work closely with them to accomplish a goal. Now, the next one here, technology in which a user can get access to the internet when connecting a cell phone to a cell phone network. That is cellular, and I apologize. I have trouble. I always say cell. Cellular. That's the term for connecting phones, cellular phones or cell phones. That's why we call them cell phones, to their network, or the cell towers. And they're called cells, by the way, because the way they're set up with the towers, and kind of like a honeycomb effect, because they overlap each other, and that's why they call cells. So you go from cell to cell to be able to connect. Okay, type of network infrastructure that stores, retrieves, and replicates data. Type of network infrastructure that stores, retrieves, and replicates data. And that is SAN. SAN.
SAN. Type of network infrastructure that stores, retrieves, and replicates data.
I didn't want them to read that. There we go.
SAN.
SAN. Storage Area Network. Okay, a network characteristic that restricts the impact of a network characteristic that restricts the impact of a failure on network access and allows a network to recover quickly from that failure. That is fault tolerance. Fault tolerance is when you build in extra security layers, or extra layers of fail-safe layers. Let's say, for example, on a server, you would put dual power supplies in. So a fault tolerance on a server with the power supply means that if one power supply goes bad, you got a backup power supply on there. You put a UPS, uninterruptible power supply, onto a server or a network, and then that allows you, if you lose power, then the battery is going to be able to take over for a certain amount of time until you can either, one, get power back or shut the machine down safely. Next one, a mechanism to manage the flow of traffic based on different requirements to ensure reliable delivery of each type of traffic. That is QoS, quality of service. Quality of service. Makes it possible for users to be free to use their personal devices to access a corporate or a campus network. That one is BYOD, and that's not bring your own something else. That's bring your own devices, BYOD. That got its roots in back when you would have a party and you'd bring your own beer, bring your own alcohol, or whatever you're going to bring. Bring your own drinks. Well, it's not bring your own drinks, it's bring your own devices. That is when you have a company or a campus that allows the users to bring their own devices and connect to the network. That way the enterprise or the college or the entity does not manage those devices. Those are held by the individuals. They just say you can get on a network, and usually there's some kind of stipulation. You have to either, I know with my campus, if I put email on my phone, my personal phone, they put restrictions on that. And they use some different tools, whether it's an iPhone or whether it's an Android device. They put some restrictions in place to be able to say, okay, if you're going to have our email on your phone, we've got to be able to remote wipe it if we need that ability. So you have to give up some rights to be able to have the right to have that email on there. But that's okay, because it's nice to be able to have your work email on your personal device, and it's nice for the enterprise because they don't have to manage the device. They don't have to support it directly. Technology that allows users and organizations to store data on remotely located servers on the internet. That one is cloud computing. So let's go back to the term on that. So technology that allows users and organizations to store data remotely located servers. In other words, when you say cloud computing technology, you're talking about on the internet somewhere or through a network. It's not necessarily the internet, but you could have you're storing it essentially off-site, or you're storing it somewhere up in what we call the cloud. So if you ever heard, it's on the cloud. Well, that's cloud computing. That allows a company not to put the physical resources in their building for a number of different reasons. And currently, if you're watching this in the future, this video is being recorded in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey in the Houston area, and millions are being displaced. I'm sure there are a lot of companies right now that do not have power and electricity. Well, if those companies had their infrastructure locally and it flooded, then they're down. But if that company had chosen to put their infrastructure in the cloud, let's say that the servers are located up in Chicago somewhere, or they're located in somewhere else in the Midwest, and that their building gets flooded, but all of their equipment and all their connections are through somewhere else, their displaced workers could go and work somewhere else, or their customers could still access their information because it's on the cloud. So that gives you some of that protection through cloud computing. Okay, technology that allows users and organizations to store data on remote. Okay, we already did that. That was the cloud computing. Okay, a facility used to store information originating from users or organizations. A facility used to store information originating from users or organizations, and that's a data center. A data center is just a collection of place where servers, data servers. The connection of devices to the internet through the use of existing electrical wiring, and that's power line networking. You can actually do networking through the power lines or the copper lines that are laid for the electricity company. You can do networking over those copper lines. Okay, a web page that can be created and edited by a group of people. And the keyword here is, and I just want to pause here for a second and just give everybody some advice on test taking, especially if you're doing certification test taking. One of the tips that I can give you is when you are reading questions for a certification or for an exam, look for some of the keywords. There's sometimes keywords that will eliminate answers, and there's sometimes keywords that will clue you in, and that's why they're called a keyword. They will clue you in on the answer, what the answer should be. Don't memorize. This is the second part of my tip here. Don't memorize questions and answers. If you just go out and if you go to a website, some kind of brain dump website that they've paid somebody to write questions down that they've seen on an exam somewhere, and you're just spewing back questions and answers. You're not. You may pass the exam, you may pass the certification. Yes, that will definitely get you that goal. But what it's not going to do is help you learn the material. It's not going to help you in your job when you go to a job interview and when you're on the job and somebody asks you a question of a web page that was created and edited by a group of people. Well, I don't know what that is because I've not seen that question before. Well, if you know the types of material, or you know the material and you know the keywords to look for example, in this one, the keyword is group of people, and we're talking about a wiki in this case. So a wiki is Wikipedia is an example of that. A wiki, and you can look up what the word wiki means. I think it's a Hawaiian word. It means group or collaboration or something like that. You'll have to look it up yourself. But that's a web page that can be created and edited by a group of people. So look for keywords. The keyword here was group of people or group. Web pages easily updated and edited by a person who wants to express his or her opinions about any subject. And again, keywords here, edited by a person.
Web pages easily updated and edited by a person who wants to blog.
It's a what the B stands for. I know vlog. Vlog stands for video log. Blog stands for blogging, or where you're going to put your personal opinions. It started out as just text pages, and then it went to images and text and images. And if you go to my blog site, it's jasonejohnson.com. Yes, I'm plugging my website, jasonejohnson.com. I post links to videos. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and pull it up here real quick because you can see an example of what I do with my blogging. I use Blogger, which is a Google product. And so on mine here, so you see I do my videos, my links to my videos. I did one back with the solar eclipse on here. And then I've got some links at the top here, for example, to the Netacad course. And I've just got links to the videos on here. And this is really just a blog page. It's a web page, definitely, but it's just links to the videos. It's just things that I post about. And if you go back and look at over time, you can see that let me go with my archives here. And if you look over time, different links and things that I've posted, let's see, let's go back to June, for example. Those are all videos there. Did I post some links to, let me go back to February, because I think I posted some links to some news sites. There we go. There's a video. There's some other videos. History of laptops. Those are mainly videos, but sometime, March. I did a lot of posting in March. I did news pages and things like that too. So, for example, let's see, was there a news article somewhere in there? Somewhere. Yeah, somewhere. Oh yeah, there's a good one. Why skipping community college could be a $20,000 mistake. You can save a lot of money, learning from dirty jobs, micro. So just posted different things in there, and it's just things that interest me. And it's and if and that's where we go back here. Edited by a person who wants to express his or her opinions about any subject. And mine is, when I come across an interesting link or something, I just throw it over on my blog site. One, it's so that I can remember that I have it, and I can go back through it if I need to find it later on. Links to pages, links to information, and then for anybody else that wants to come to the site and look those up. Okay, a technology that allows people to access a website and download an audio recording delivered by somebody. That's podcasting. You might think to yourself, well, YouTube fits that description. It allows people to access a website and download an audio recording. Well, YouTube is not necessarily set up for you to download an audio recording. You can listen to an audio recording. So it's more of a media hosting site. That's what YouTube is, or Facebook is more of a social media site. And yes, you can do live streaming and you can upload videos and things like that to Facebook. So it's got some mixtures of that. But a technology that allows people to access a website and download, there's your key word, download an audio recording. And that's what some people will do with podcasting. If you go to Security Now, the Security Now, I'm going to put a plug in for them, grc.com, Security Now or Twit TV. They have podcasts, and a lot of what I've learned in the security field and learned towards me progressing in the cybersecurity and security is from this blog that they do. They do the podcast. And so they have a weekly show, essentially a radio show, but it doesn't go out over radio. It goes out over podcasting. And then they upload it to their webpage and say, I can download it as an MP3 file. I can download it as a smaller MP3 file, which is probably more compressed. And then you can get the show notes. You can open up as there's the transcript, there's a note, and then there's a PDF file. So, and then they just and then you can just download that. And you can also get an RSS feed. So if you've got a podcast, like on iTunes, for example, on your iPod or your Apple device, or even on your Android device, if you have a podcasting app, that podcasting app will say, okay, scan the different sites that you tell us to, and then if they've got a new upload, go ahead and download that, or at least give us the link to that podcast to give us the option to download that, and then you can download that and listen to that on your device, on your computer device. And so then that podcast, it's easier to manage. You don't have to go to the website every time. You just go to your podcasting app. A network with the capability of delivering traffic with different requirements, but with the use of the same network infrastructure. Different requirements, but same network infrastructure. And that's a converged network. And you'll hear that term in the Cisco side, but it's also in networking. A converged network means you have different services using the same medium. Different traffic on the same network. So an example of that would be if you have voice over IP or VoIP, VoIP. If you have VoIP on your same network that you are putting your regular network traffic to be able to pull web pages down or be able to do your printing for your business. But if you also have VoIP, maybe you put security cameras on that same system or use the same medium. That's a converged network. So it's when you have different services that you are using on the same network. Technology that provides the user with a high bandwidth connection to the internet over a telephone line. Now this one's DSL, direct subscriber line. I think DSL. Am I saying that right? Direct subscriber line. digital subscriber line. I knew I had that wrong. I was doubting myself. It's not direct. It's digital subscriber line. That's why I wanted to look it up, because I knew I had that wrong. Let's go to the Wikipedia page here. Digital subscriber line. It's original digital subscriber loop, and now it's just called a line. It's a family of technology that use transmit digital data over telephone lines. Digital data over telephone lines, and that's the key there. Digital data over telephone lines. They use the old POT system, or old small copper wire, and then they send the digital data over that and not analog data. A type of network in which computers can perform the role of a server and a client at the same time. Ooh, client at the same time. That's peer-to-peer network. That's when you connect two PCs together, but you don't have an actual server. You don't. Let's say that you don't put an actual web server, or you don't put a print server, or a file management server. That's just when you connect 2 or 3, maybe 4 different PCs together, and they can communicate, and that's a peer-to-peer network. An example of that would be in a home. If you put your Xbox or your PlayStation on the network, and then you have a computer, and for example, in my house, I've got a couple laptops, a couple desktops, and some other devices. My daughter, my wife, my son, and I, between our laptops, the desktops, and the tablets, we don't have a server there, but we can connect those devices together and share information. We can send files back and forth, and that's peer-to-peer networking. Now, the next one is a private interconnection of LANs and WANs inside, keywords here, inside an organization that can only be accessed by organization members or by non-members with authorization. And that's intranet. There's a difference between internet and intranet. And the difference is a private interconnection of LANs and WANs inside an organization that can only be accessed by organizations. So when you see that word, look for those keywords: private, inside, only be accessed. So that's intranet. A network that provides safe and secure access to an organization's data to be authorized, or to authorize people who work outside that organization. Keywords here again. That one's extranet. And that one's a network that provides safe and secure access to an organization's data to authorize people who work outside the organization. So if you have somebody that's, maybe a vendor for a company, and you need them to log in and get information and say, okay, well, I need to know, update information with you. They would do that through what we call an extranet. Okay, the collection of globally interconnected networks. There we go, internet. And notice that is a capital I. Use a capital I on internet. When you're talking about the internet, it's capitalized. Okay, you can save your progress if you sign up with that on there through Quizlet. You can sign up through there. What we're going to do here is it's about 12:20. I'm just going to show you here real quick how to do this packet tracer lab for this first one, and how to use this for packet tracer, and how to use these PKA files. These PKA files, the PDF files, are the to do your labs. So if you download those, and I'm going to move that up here to Ivy Tech for fall and 9105, and I think I've already got it saved there. We're going to replace it, and I'm going to open it up, and we've got our PDF file here. And this is your topology that you're going to see on the PDF, and you're also going to see it in the PKT file here in a second too. It gives you your objectives, and all of the labs are set up in the same way. You've got your topology at the top. It's going to tell you what your objectives are, and then it's going to go through steps. And you just need to, if you follow through step by step, you should be able to work through those. You're going to answer these questions here and put those in the PDF. You can't do that while you're online. See, I'm online right now, and I can't do that. So what I have to do is I have to download that PDF file. So I have to download that PDF file, and of course it's going to roll over it like that. I have to go and open that file. I have to open it with some type of either Adobe Reader. I am using a free version of, let me close this here. I'm using a free version of Connected PDF here, or Foxit Reader, excuse me. I'm using Foxit Reader. And what you have to do is you have to come down here and save your answers in the text box here. So list the intermediary devices. If you study the material, watch my PowerPoints on this chapter, and you'll understand what those are. Your intermediary devices, those are the devices that connect LANs together, or local area networks together. And so, you've got your internet here, your internet there. Your intermediary devices are your modem, your switch routers here, and your modem, and you just need to write those down in there. Now, what you got to be careful about is our device categories. So we have routers and we have a modem here. So routers and modems. So we'll just put that in here. So routers and modems. Now, what you have to be careful about is that answer should save. So if you click File, Save, it should save, but it doesn't always. So what you want to do is you want to close it and you want to open it back up, and you want to make sure that it did save in there. Because what happens with students sometimes is they save their answers in here, they think it saves, and they upload a blank file to me. So make sure that you save that. I would recommend doing a File Save As, and then changing the name of that and put it with answers or something, and put your name on it or something like that. Now, what you're also going to do with this, so that's on that. If you have trouble getting the PDFs to work, some of the PDFs won't let you put the answers in there. I recommend just go ahead and opening up a Google Doc or a Word document or even a notepad and put your answers in there. I don't need the questions listed again. Just put, step 1A or step 1B, step 1C, 1D, and then just give your answers on there, and then put those in the comments when you upload your project. Now, what you're going to do with this PKT file, once you get Packet Tracer installed, and I'm going to open up Packet Tracer here, and I'm going to switch over to just Packet Tracer and turn my main screen off. There we go. So I'm not taking up as much bandwidth on here recording. This is the Packet Tracer, and once you get that PKT file downloaded, you can do new. You can double click on it, by the way, but I'm just going to click Open. I'm going to go to where that is, Fall 9105, and I'm going to double click on that, and that's going to open up that PKT file. That is a pre-packaged Packet Tracer file. It's a Packet Tracer activity. You're going to see these from time to time that you have to download the activity when you do take your final exam, and you go through and you start answering questions, and it'll say, okay, in this Packet Tracer activity, answer these questions, these 3 questions, and it's going to open up Packet Tracer for you. So when you go to take that final exam, make sure that the testing center has Packet Tracer installed properly. Otherwise, this will not work. Now, when you have a PKT file or a Packet Tracer file that you open up, it's going to have the activity here. It's not going to have a place for you to put your answers in. Some of these, they can be graded. So you can go through and you can put information in on a router, and then it will go through and you say, check your results. Well, there's no results to check here because it's locked. However, let's open that back up there. Oh, and I apologize. You know what? It is, I do need to switch back over from Packet Tracer to main screen. There we go. So there we go. That's what you'd be looking at right there. That wasn't pulling up on the screen, so I apologize for that. So you'll see this little Packet Tracer activity here, and then on some of them, if you can check your results, for example, if you were supposed to go into a router and add your message of the day, and you were supposed to go in and set your passwords and your usernames, and not the usernames, but your passwords, and put your IP addresses in and all of that information, then you can check your results, and it will pop up, and it will say, you got X amount of right, and here's your percentage that you got right. This one doesn't do that. This one, you need to answer those questions on that PDF file, and it'll ask you to come in here. And this is a good virtual way to be able to represent a network without having to go and purchase a lot of Cisco equipment. That's what I really like about Packet Tracer. It's a really nice program. There's another option out there as far as virtual labs that you can do. I'm not going to discuss those at this point because you still have to get your hands on Cisco software to be able to download to those, and that's a whole nother issue. I'm keeping my focus on the NetAcad, the Cisco Networking Academy, and the Packet Tracer program because that's what's used in the Networking Academy. So this is our lab here. We can go in here, and for example, if I want to look at this switch right here, I can double click on it. Actually, I can just hover over it, by the way, and it's going to give me my ports and it's going to give me my information. But if I double click on it, I can go in here to the command line and I can see what's going on with it. I can come in here and I can enable, I've got root access at that point. Well, I'm dropping back into Linux. I can go in here and I can do everything with that. I can exit back out. It gives me that access to be able to do that. I can sit in here and config the name on it and do all those changes if it allows me on the Packet Tracer. But Packet Tracer does allow you to move around like that. That's the PKT file. Okay, so I'm going to close Packet Tracer. If you've got questions for those, just email those to me. You can drop them in the chat window. I'm just saying I'm going to drop a chat window in. And let me drop my YouTube, drop that, drop that, drop that. And we're back here to the packet tracer. Let me back up. And then you want to upload that project. Let me go back to modules here. Okay. And then just check out, I was going to cover this, but I'm a little bit behind. This is just a PDF here. It's about researching job opportunities. And I'm going to open that up just on my screen here. So what you want to do here is you want to research. You want to go to either monster.com. Go to a job site, either Monster or Dice or some of the different ones that are out there. And look for network administrator and do the search. And then give your results down here. What job title did you search for? Did you narrow it down? You know, what skills or qualifications were required? If you're wanting to do some more research, and it's not the easiest site to search, but you can find some good information on there, is you look up the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS.gov, Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's a good site to go to, and you can look up job outlooks. You can look up job historically what jobs pay. So if we go on here and we do data tools and you go down here, well, you got to go down here and you got to find different information. So career information, if you want to look at Career Outlook and you're like, do I really want to go into networking? Do I want to be a network engineer? Well, let me go in here and check what network engineers do. So you can search the Career Outlook and you can maybe even say network engineer and see what we get here. Oh, I need to unblock my scripts. There we go. Yeah, thanks a lot, Windows. Career planning for high schoolers, STEM 1.0 powering the nation, smart grid careers. Let's see here. Cluster pathways and BLS connecting career information. So then you can come down here and look and see information technology. And so you can see occupations assigned to the information technology cluster that are projected to have the most job openings from 2012 to 2022. Application software developers. That's going to be mobile apps. That's going to be writing software. Computer systems analysts. Those are working with the systems, working with the servers. Computer user support, help desk. System software developers. That's writing system software for the systems. And then computer programmers. And you can then review the chart data. That's by the thousands. So by no means is this 100% accurate. But it's going to give you a pretty good idea of where jobs are coming, which areas. And then you can then narrow those down. For example, let's go computer user support, 197, computer user support specialist. So right, BLS counted about 3.5 million jobs and occupations that are assigned to the information technology cluster, and median annual wages for those occupations range from $46,000 for computer user specialists to $101,000 for system software developers. Now, are you in a small town of 10,000 people, you're not going to make $100,000 as a system software developer, most likely, unless you're doing some kind of online work for an online company or a company somewhere else. When you go to the larger cities, that's where you're going to get the higher wages. You're going to start bumping into those. So when it says, and remember that median is the midpoint, median is middle. So there's jobs lower than that, and there's jobs higher than that. It really is going to depend on, a lot of it's going to depend on what part of the country you live in. So if you live out on the West Coast around San Francisco, you're going to make a lot more, but it's a lot more expensive to live out there. A lot more expensive out there. If you're in New York City, it's a lot more expensive to live there. So the cost of living does play a part in that. So keep that in mind when you're doing some career planning on that. Okay, so just finish that lab up, and you should be good to go there. All right, I'm going to switch over here to let me go back to Ivy Learn, and we're going to do a little switch over here to the ITSP 135 course, and we're going to take a look at test out. We've got about 20 minutes on the live stream here. I still don't have any questions. I'm all alone here, forever alone, live streaming. So we're going to go to ITSP 135. Now, the great thing about 135, if you're in this course, if you're in my course, I've also given you access to the NetAcad course for And I'm going to go to that, the Netacad course for IT Essentials, which gives you a whole lot more information. Well, sometime today. I'm going to click My Netacad there, see if that'll speed up just a little bit. There we go. And then that's the IT Essentials. And if you go in there, you will see that you've got a whole lot of material in here that lines up to the A+. And I've also done here, I've got YouTube videos for those. And then you've got each chapter has different material. It doesn't 100% line up with the course and over on the Ivy Learn side, but it's close. So what we've got to do here is on, let's take a look at Module 1 was last week, and I've already covered that. So we did Module 1. We did our overview there. You should have followed through with all of that. That was the overview. That was the course syllabus. Actually, let me move back here. Module 1. Moving back. Module 1, you did your overview. You read your first chapter, the first PowerPoint. You had your discussion boards. So a lot of work. And then you had your lab sims, which were over on the test outside. So you wanted to make sure that you got all that done. Module 2 is we're looking at the inside of computers, desktops, and laptops. And we've got about 20 minutes here. So I'm going to take a look here at the material over on the Netacad side for you. But this was learning about motherboards and out of the Andrews text. And that's great material, but I'm going to use the Netacad side. What I'm also going to do is show you the test out, what you should be doing on the test out side. And I'll just need to get logged in here while we're talking about that. And hopefully test out doesn't do any copyright strikes against me, because they have okay, free subscription to Certification Magazine. No, I don't want that. I've already got that. And you're going to find your course here, but I don't want to go in there because that's going to show grades. I want to go into my products here, and I'm going to go into PC Pro. And that's the course introduction. We're going to click here, and we're going to go down to hardware basics. So let's just do a quick hardware base. That's the video. I'm not going to do the video. What I like about the labs here is that you can go through and interact with the labs on here. And like I said, I'm going to use the Netacad site to look at this information, but just make sure that you're going through the labs here. When you do need to get the labs done, for example, there's practice questions, and then there's labs here to do. For example, set up a computer. And over on the Ivy Learn side, it will tell you which ones you need to get done. So for example, lab sim exercises right here, if you click on there, it will tell you that you need to do 3.1, 3.3, 3.7, 3.8, and do all of those. So what you want to do is, go down to 3 system components. And what did it say? 3.1 is one of them. So 3.1, this is the case facts here. So you want to watch the video. Then you can do the lab or the facts. And then you can come in here and do the practice questions. Ooh, let me go back. And you want to get your labs done for 3.1. And then once you do your labs, oh, that's the overview there. We want to do the labs. Well, if I can pull that up. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, that's 3.2.5 right there, installing a power supply. We'll just look at that one, see 3. It doesn't have us do 3.2.5, but you want to find the 3.1. And then once you do the lab, it'll walk you to the lab to do that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the Netacad side. For chapter 1, again, you can check out my YouTube videos on there. But as far as the terms and practice here, these are the Quizlets that they use in here. So there's 14 here. I think I can get through these fairly quickly. So I'm just going to walk through these on here. So the first one is the size, shape, and physical layout of computer components such as a case, the motherboard, and the power supplies. The answer to that is form factor. So if you hear the word form factor, that just means that's what's the size and the shape. For example, a desktop is the form factor. But under the desktop, you might have an ATX, you might have an AT, an ATX, a mini ATX. You can have different types of form factors in there. The next one here, the measure of the work that is required to move a charge from one location to another. Again, look for keywords. A charge from one location to another. That's volts, voltage. The measure of resistance to the flow of a current in a circuit. The measure of the resistance is ohms. And I'm not going to go into detail on each one of these. The material's in there, and you can do that. We're just doing a quick review here. The measure of the number of electrons moving through a circuit per second, that's amps. And these are different a little bit. So like ohms is measure of resistance. So ohms is resistance. Amps is a measure of number of electrons moving the circuit per second. Now the measure of the work per second of an electrical current is watts. So you have ohms and watts. So you have ohms, watts, amps, and volts. The brain of the computer. What does all the thinking, the calculations? It doesn't really think. It just does calculations. That's the CPU, the central processing unit.
CPU
is a central processing unit. That's what does the calculations that you've requested for it to do. The main temporary working storage location for data and programs. Main temporary, again, keywords here, temporary working storage location. It's RAM. Random access memory. Memory location that stores basic operational instructions used by the CPU for booting the computer. Again, keywords, instructions and booting. That's the ROM, read-only memory.
ROM.
A redundant array of disk drives that provides redundancy and fault tolerance. That's RAID. If I can get it to go.
RAID.
RAID, as in the bug spray. So let's look at RAID and go to the Wikipedia page. And RAID stands for Redundant Array of Independent Disk. So let's go back here. When it said redundant array of disk, so RAID, RA, independent disk, on there. All right, storage devices that are replacing magnetic drives for permanent data storage. Solid state drives, or you probably know them as SSDs. You'll hear SSD, solid state drives. Those are the same form factor as RAM chips and ROM chips in most cases. Those are usually some kind of chip. There's no moving parts to them. They're faster. However, they have a much their time span is more limited than a magnetic drive. Okay, magnetic disk drives that are used for permanent data storage. Hard disk drive. We hear that word. Hard disk drive, or HDD. So you hear SDD or HDD. Computers that rely on a central server for all or most data storage and processing resources. That's a thin client. Now here, all or most. So you'll have a device that doesn't do much computing on its own. It's got a small CPU on it, but that small CPU is to do little things like, okay, let's connect the keyboard and the mouse and the monitor and do some basic networking. But everything else is done on the server. The main circuit board inside the computer to which all computer components connect, the motherboard, and that's why it's called a motherboard, kind of like the mothership when you talk about aliens and we go up into space in the mothership. Well, that's motherboard, where everything connects. Integrated circuits on the motherboard that control system hardware interaction with the CPU and motherboard. The chipset.
Chipset.
That is integrated circuit. Integrated, those circuits that are tied into the motherboard. You can't remove them easily. You have to do some soldering and things like that, but they're not designed to come off. That control system hardware interaction with the CPU and motherboard. That is
chipset.
Chipset. Okay, that's our terms and concepts practice for chapter 1. You want to take this quiz here. I'm going to back out of to here, and we're going to go to. I don't have a PowerPoint, but check out the YouTube videos because I do have the PowerPoints on there. If you check out the videos on this IT Essentials here, I've got these listed. I'm going to drop that there. And so, for example, this is the welcome and overview for chapter 1. I've got this video here. And if you jump on in, see, I talk about each one here. See, I talk about all the different components and the form factors and all those. So, hey, you can see that was recorded back in the winter when I was wearing a sweater. Just check out these videos. What I recommend doing is you can come in here and I recommend putting it as high. And those were 720p. I apologize. That was before I had my 1080 working right. And you can come in here and change your speed. So I sometimes when I'm listening to somebody, I change the speed up just a little bit faster, or you can slow it down. I recommend getting the quality all the way up to 720 so you can see what's going on. And then by all means, leave comments for me. I love seeing comments on the videos. I love interacting with students that way. I love seeing that my videos are being helpful, because that's really why I do this. I do not do YouTube videos for money. I will tell you that there is, for somebody at my level, there is no money in YouTube. And that is not my career. That's not my goal. I never started YouTube to make any type of money off of it. It's never been about making money. It's about getting content out to my students that helps. And then I've added on then later, because my daughter wanted to do video gaming, we've added that into the channel. So that's why you see video gaming interspersed with the tech videos, because I do my part, and then my daughter likes doing YouTube gaming, and so we added that part in so we could do that kind of as a family function. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping up this YouTube live stream for August 21st, August 31st, I almost said the 21st, August 31st. I'm going to drop my screen here. I'm going to put the Ivy Tech logo back up here. If there's anything that you want to see in one of my live streams, if there's any questions that you need to ask that can be answered in live stream and in the public, I cannot answer questions about grades. I will not discuss personal questions such as, what course should you go into, things like that. From a general perspective, I will. I will say, okay, if you're going into cybersecurity, here's some things that you need to keep in mind. But if you say, which course should I take next semester, I can't answer that course in the live stream. We'll do that. We'll do that offline through email or some other means, or through a Google Hangout. We'll do a Google Hangout as a student or with you as a student. I'll do that offline. Is my mic not even working on here? Okay. So is the mic working now? Okay. Oh, it is working. Okay. Yeah, my mic's working. I hope that's not doing double there. I thought I checked my mic coming through. Okay, so I had one of those scary moments there where I wasn't sure if the live stream was actually being broadcast with my voice. So we are going to go ahead and wrap up with this. I want to thank everyone that watches the videos. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you have any questions that you want answered in my weekly live stream for the Ivy Tech live stream that I'm doing, or my student live stream, whatever you want to call it, then just email those to me at Jason E. Johnson 31. Actually, let me put that up here. Let me give you my information here. Whoop, boop, boo. I have to go over here. No, I don't want that yet. I don't want that yet. There we go. JasonEJohnson.com. You can also reach me on Twitter on there. So you can follow me at Twitter at JasonEJohnson31, or you can reach me at JasonEJohnson.com. All right. So again, thanks for watching my channel, watching the videos. I do appreciate your time. I really like to see interaction from you. So make sure that you leave comments for me if you've got questions, and I hope you have a great day.